Alright, we've had the performance work done to this car about 12 months ago through Brendan and the team at Diesel Power Unlimited. Paget Mackay, they're the gurus up there. So they partnered up with us for Pro Touring Concepts, Pro Touring TV. And we went in there with the 79 series and the two 200s. We virtually did the same sort of package on all three cars. We put a bit hard to see, but under here is an SRW screen, a Diesel Power Unlimited high flow intercooler, top mount cooler. We did that on the three trucks, the two 200s and the 79. We put the Expedition Concepts catch can kit in here. It's a ProVent 200 down the front. And we put this Expedition Concepts one in because we can get to the drain valve quite easily through this little winch access point there. There's a little handle in there that we can get to it and drain it out when we need to. We sort of drain it about every 5,000 Ks. And it's good too. It's disgusting what you get out of those things. So just thought it'd be a good opportunity for me to explain and show you exactly what we have done and what we think of it. We've also got the AAA Fab custom air boxes as well. There's a few, the 200s are quite notorious for actually getting a bit of dust in the intake pipes, stuff like that. So with all the off-roading, dust roads, corrugations and all that sort of stuff that we've been doing, we thought it'd be a good opportunity while we had all the other stuff being done to put a proper sealed unit in under the engine bay. And it's been great. No dust. We've opened it up a couple of times. No dust. Stoked. And they've done a good job too. It's a very neat unit. It's in all honesty, it's, you know, like, you shouldn't have to open the boxes all that often. We do when we're away. We sort of, every major town, we normally pull them open and blow them out. Replace the filters if we had to. On the original air boxes, we were replacing filters all the time. We would take a lot of air filters with us. That was just on the Cape trip. I think we went through about maybe six air filters, and we're keeping in mind we also use the socks that go up on top of the snorkel inlet. But I think we only replaced 1 or 2 air filters on the last trip, which is really good, and no dust on the intake pipe as well. Performance wise, we did an ECU tune, so that all the three trucks were put on the dyno. It was quite cool seeing the comparative figures between the cars, DPF models versus non-DPF models. Out of the box, the non-DPF 200 did have more power and slightly more torque. There's just more parameters that the guys can tune with non-DPF models. Well, 12 months ago, a little bit of a different story now, but we sort of tweaked this so it's a little bit shy of what the non-DPF model 200 could get, but it's a safe tow tune. It was still, I think we still achieved about 770 or 780 Newton meters at the wheels on 35s. Towing performance difference, on our way up to Mackay, we were getting about 28 litres per 100k, and without the lockup kit and without any performance. So there's a Redback twin 3-inch system in this as well. So it was like 28 litres per 100k. We dropped down the best that we got once we'd left Mackay with the all the tune stuff, the cooler, all that sort of jazz, the lockup kit, the stock lockup kit. We got down to around 22 litres per 100k. It's when you start getting further out west, the fuel quality tends to get worse. That's why we put the pre-filter kits in and stuff like that to assist. We were emptying them out. We changed the pre-filter kits, I think the filters, twice, 2 to 3 times. We kept getting really bad batches of fuel, which bumps your fuel economy up, you lose power. I think at one stage we were getting around 30 litres or 32 litres per 100k because of the fuel quality, and we were chewing through fuel. It was only when we started to come back into the East Coast again that we started getting better quality fuel. And you've also got to be careful with with these new piezo injectors. They're quite sensitive to dirty fuel and water, so you really sort of want to keep it on top of making sure you've got good quality fuel going into the system, which means pre-filters, trying to cover that base. But a lot more power, a lot more fun around town. Depends on how heavy the car is. This truck weighs about 4.1 tonne every day of the week, 415 sort of thing. It's fairly well loaded up all the time. We leave pretty much most things in it, and we were towing the boat at 3.4 tonne. So a lot of weight on the road, but we could comfortably sit at 100k, 110, 120 whenever we needed to. The lockup kit is just chalk and cheese. You should do the lockup kit to any 200 series if you're towing or not towing. It's absolutely fantastic. The way that it works, it virtually sort of converts your automatic transmission into a manual. It locks the converter, and it keeps the RPM at a set RPM while you're driving it. It just basically uses all the torque that the motor can produce, and it's phenomenal. And there's no converter flare, there's no over revving, shifting gears, all that sort of stuff. So it's a really good bit of kit. The stock lock has a manual override, like a low engagement speed, which is 30k an hour it'll engage, and there's a high engagement speed, which is about 80k or above. We normally, when we're towing, we normally use sport mode, low engaged. So as soon as we've gone past that 30k an hour mark, we're virtually driving it like a manual everywhere. We're shifting it, downshifting, upshifting. Because the converter's locked, you can use the engine braking a lot more effectively. You can downshift and it will hold the converter and lock it and sort of slow down like a manual. So really good bit of kit, stock lock lockup kit. So in conjunction with all the other stuff that we've done, the Diesel Power Unlimited boys did, it's a different truck. So we're very happy with it. We'll be doing it again on all our future builds, doing the ECU tune. So it's one thing to get an ECU tune, it's another to actually take your truck to someone like Diesel Power and actually, it's not just going to be a set tune that gets put in your car. They tailor tune each car individually depending on what size tyres you've got on it, if you've got a snorkel, if you've got all your bull bars, it'll be on the dyno. If the figures aren't quite right, that's when they do their homework. They'll be working, trying to nut out the best fuel air mixture ratios, boost injector timing, all that sort of stuff comes into it. They'll be doing their homework to try and get the best results for you, best economy, best power. It's unreal. It's good to see it when it's in its flesh, when it's actually all being done. So we were quite fortunate enough to be there and see the whole thing unfold. The Redback system is a twin 3-inch turbo back or DPF back system. It's an aluminized mild steel. Very cool. We've got it with a resonator. You can have it with a resonator and a muffler, and high flow cats, or we've got the high flow cats and resonator, just so you can still hear it. It's borderline on almost being too droney when we're up and down the ranges towing the big boat, but around town it's fine. It's awesome. So, and it's good on the beach. You can sort of really hear that you've got a V8 under there. So yeah guys, that's pretty much it. If you just want to ask or know any more about what we've done to it, feel free to send us a comment or a message or an email or something like that. But we're very happy with how it all came together. We've got it's the big Safari R-Max. There is a trick to running the R-Max. I know everyone wants the bigger intake and rah-rah, but it's a renowned problem with the R-Max snorkel is that a lot of 200s ended up getting a vibration because of after the mount of the R-Max. There is a fix for it. You can keep the original vane snout that's on the inside of your stock air box. Safari actually tell you to remove that, but if you actually keep that in there, then it actually breaks up the airflow and stops the vibration. Safari, I believe, also sell a baffle for the factory airbox as well, which breaks up the airflow, which cancels out that vibration as well. We sort of didn't really like the idea of blocking off using a baffle, which is essentially sort of taking up a bit of that airflow. You know, you put a bigger snorkel intake on for a reason. You'd rather use that bigger intake. So we use Diesel Power Unlimited for all of our truck builds. We sort of combine some pretty cool packages and send them up to Mackay. And we've had a few customers now have it done, and they're very happy as well. So cool, guys. Thanks for watching.